Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is MotorWeek. We'll pop the hood and the hatch on the reimagined Honda Prelude before spending time at the beach with post-war hot rodder. We're looking back at a carbon-crazed once-a-century Lamborghini, then cooling down with an easy drive home in the Lexus RZ. To come drive with us next.
MotorWeek, 45 years steering you in the right direction.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
A Prelude is generally considered an introduction or something that comes before. But musically speaking, this 2026 Honda Prelude is more of a senio or a repeat, as after a quarter of a century, Honda has returned to making this very special type of sweet sport coupe music. So let's find out if that means we're in for an electrifying performance. Electrifying indeed. As you may have heard by now, this reborn 2026 Honda Prelude comes exclusively with Honda's two-motor hybrid powertrain. This may seem odd, but if you recall from our review of the latest Civic Hybrid, its 200 horsepower was exactly the same as the Civic SI's Turbo 4, yet the hybrid cranked out 40 additional pound-feet of torque. That's also what you'll find here in the Prelude. 2-liter Atkinson cycle i4 with 200 horsepower and 232 pound-feet of torque. And since the transmission is made up of electric motors instead of a planetary gear set, an S Plus shift system is in place to provide a performance transmission experience. This means 8 virtual gear ratios, which you can select via paddle shifters, with engine RPMs adjusting accordingly to provide the feel of an actual gear shift. It will hold its virtual gear as well as blip the throttle on downshifts, and it even has rev matching. Honda employed a similar tech-minded approach back when the Prelude's previous run came to an end 25 years ago. That 5th gen arrived as the 20th century was coming to a close and sporty coupes were falling out of favor in the American market. Honda's innovative active torque transfer system attempted to eliminate understeer in corners, but in our road test, we put more credence in the well-sorted suspension and grippy tires. Then, as now, Honda pitches the front-wheel drive Prelude as more of a mature Grand Touring-style sport coupe instead of an outright track performer. But the fact that it gets most of its chassis and suspension components from Honda's Civic Type R indicates it's plenty capable. We experienced plenty of grip in our handling course. Much like the last Prelude, the suspension is well sorted even in its comfort setting. But sportier GT and Sport tunes are available with the standard active damper system, which has been tuned specifically for the Prelude. Steering feel was spot on as well. While not quite as thrilling in acceleration runs, it felt plenty quick for a sporty coupe, getting us to 60 in 6.5 seconds. There's a nice little jolt of torque off the line, but things mostly stayed smooth and steady down the track as we completed the quarter mile in 15.2 seconds at 91 miles per hour. No sense in employing the S Plus shift here, as that's more about a feel, not necessarily improving performance. Type R brakes were more than up to the task, bringing us to smooth and stable stops from 60 in a very short 90 feet. While the sheet metal of this liftback is probably the most dynamic we've seen from Honda in some time, Its looks are not a total departure from the Civic family. The rear doesn't appear as tall as the last Civic Coupe, which has been out of the lineup since 2020, so there's a steeper rake to the roofline, leading to a wide tail accentuated with a Porsche-like full-width light bar. Standard wheels are 19s. The Civic influence is even stronger inside with familiar patterns, materials, and controls, but with a rising center console that incorporates Honda's gear selector. Two themes are available, blue and white two-tone or basic black. Front accommodations are sporty feeling without being tight, while the two rear seats are best left to children. There's a nice 15.1 cubic feet of storage space beneath the liftback, with 60/40 split-seat folding flexibility. Government fuel economy ratings are 46 city, 41 highway, and 44 combined. We average 44.9 miles per gallon of regular. For now, it's a one-size-fits-all approach for Prelude, starting at $43,195 with just a few option add-ons. Small, sporty coupes used to be a big deal, but when you combine the ongoing SUV takeover with all kinds of modern tech that can turn just about any vehicle into a great handler, it makes us wonder, why now? But one thing we do know is Honda is committed to significantly expanding their hybrid profile. And to us, the 2026 Honda Prelude is the perfect spoonful of sugar to help that go down. If you could choose any era to be an American automotive enthusiast, which would it be? Well, muscle car fans would say the late 60s and early 70s. Tuners would point around Y2K, but for hot rodders, it really got cranking post-war. Well, this week, Greg Carlos goes over the edge to an event where the faithful don't just celebrate that time, they live it.
There's vintage racing, and then there's vintage racing, and that's exactly what this is. It's the race of gentlemen. Let's go check it out.
Boy, Trog is short for the race of gentlemen, also short for troglodyte, which is a caveman. I believe in being a gentleman, yet I like my life wild.
Wild. It's the only way to describe Trog. A weekend-long immersion into the post-war era, celebrating its motorcycles, hot rods, music, and even fashion. Taking place just about every fall since 2012 in Wildwood, New Jersey. And it's all the vision of Mel Stoltz.
I was sitting at this old 1920s, brick convention center, looking down the beach, and it dawned on me that it looked like a beautiful drag strip straightaway. And so I kind of just invented it by accident, and we ran with it. Like all my loves in one big art project of sorts.
Art can be uncompromising. So is Trog's dedication to authenticity. So every hot rod and motorcycle that hits the sand must go through Mel. Car bodies need to be American-made before 1935, with 4 or 8-cylinder engines that predate 1954. Also American-made. Motorcycles need a similar period correctness and have to be bobbed. The only modern exceptions are in the name of safety, helmets and harnesses. With such demanding guidelines, it's no surprise that everyone I meet exudes intense passion and inspired individuality.
My name's Eric Hansen. I came from Omaha, Nebraska to get here. I don't know, just something's wired in my brain to like old cars, and that's all I know.
I'm Natasha Hollis from McPherson, Kansas, and this is the Irish sausage. Been raised on a farm and ranch and worked on vehicles, tractors, everything, and I like to go fast in cars.
I'm Rob Ida Concepts in New Jersey. I build custom cars. I brought this 1957 Porsche and this 1954 Corvette racer.
Rob's cars clearly don't meet Trog's rules for entry. So how did he make it down to the pits?
Good question. So we don't really have a class. Mel lets me come in and race some of these later sports cars, but he is thinking of adding a sports car class to the race gentleman in the future.
Trust me, no one is complaining when these cars hit the starting line. And how could you? 2 days of racing from the moment the tide goes out all the way until Mother Nature says it's time to go home. Shades on, eyes toward the ocean, soaking in all the sights, sounds, and smells these unruly machines have to offer. Who's to say it's not actually happening in the 1950s?
So I've been to automotive events around the world, some of the greatest events there are. This is the one event I've never missed, right? A race of gentlemen, there's just something about this that no other event gives you this feeling.
It's the beach, you're racing, and you kind of get to step back in time and experience the sand in your face and the wind in your hair, and you just can't go home without a smile on your face.
Beach racing is messy, loud, unpredictable. But if you look at all the chaos from the right angle, there's beauty. The art of Trog.
While federal emissions credits for equipping new vehicles with auto stop-start systems are gone, the technology isn't going anywhere. And did you know using these systems does result in meaningful fuel savings?
The Society of Automotive Engineers found that drivers can cut fuel consumption by between 7 and 26% by using auto stop-start technology. Naturally, highway driving will see less fuel savings, but the frequent idling that comes with city driving is where you'll find the most gains.
So love it or hate it, auto stop-start systems can save you real money at the pump.
About a decade ago, we drove a Lamborghini so unique it only comes around once a century. And to this day, we're still dreaming about it. You may have gotten a clue from the name, but this 2017 Lamborghini Centenario was conceived to celebrate a 100-year anniversary. Not of Lamborghini the brand, but of founder Ferruccio Lamborghini's birth. A host of colors are available, but we like the exposed carbon fiber look just fine. The rear wing has been extended to provide additional downforce when approaching this car's 217 miles per hour top speed. Reminds you of a Batmobile, doesn't it? Yet through it all, it still retains that classic Lamborghini shape that every car-crazy kid loves. Aventador Bones also means there's a screaming, naturally aspirated 6.5-liter V12 engine located in the back, producing 759 horsepower thanks to Lambo boosting max revs a bit to 8,600. 0 to 60 is 2.8 seconds and less. A trio of exhaust tips mounted dead center in the rear trumpet exhaust notes that are truly magical.
Now, if this car doesn't get your heart pounding instantly, I don't know what would. I've been driving it maybe 30 miles so far this morning, and the one thing that I really notice is when you mash on the throttle, the power is instant. Feels like you're going 200 miles an hour. It is insane.
MotorWeek had a rare opportunity to experience the heck out of this one, and it was extraordinarily magical. Lamborghini's new rear-wheel steer system is included, as well as all of the basics of the Aventador, including the independent shifting rods transmission and magnetic shocks. A serious lack of sound-deadening material in a cabin full of hard surfaces can either be a detriment or quite possibly the greatest thing your gearhead mind could conjure up, as the aria of power surging from the V12 echoes throughout the space like an Italian concert hall from hell. The 2017 Lamborghini Centenario is a truly unique piece of automotive art that will be talked about for years to come, and a fitting tribute to Lamborghini the man who believed nothing was impossible. Let's hang out with the team for another round of Quick Spins.
The compact and subcompact crossover segment is as contentious as it gets, meaning it sometimes takes a big effort to get noticed. But sometimes big efforts can backfire, going too over the top. This third generation Audi Q3 is new for 2026, and it gets as close to that threshold as possible without going over. We found that out firsthand during a California first drive. Initial impressions start with the exterior, where the Q3 takes on a more contemporary design, still sporting a large grille, but the shaping, along with the side pockets and LED lights, is more chiseled. Rear end changes see equally sharp LED lights and reformed bodywork. The Q3 is only slightly larger than before, but appears a tad slicker and therefore sportier. And that's furthered by a more powerful 2-liter Turbo 4, which creates 255 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque. It's deployed to a standard all-wheel drive system through a new 7-speed dual-clutch automatic.
Its engine is powerful, it's quick, it accelerates to 60 miles per hour in just 5.5 seconds, which is 1.6 seconds faster than the outgoing model. Steel suspension delivers an improved driving experience, which makes it a really great daily driver. Laminated soundproof glass cuts down on road and wind noise, which makes the cabin overall quieter, especially on the highways.
As expected, the cabin is nothing short of inviting with premium materials throughout both rows. A 12.8-inch touchscreen and 11.9-inch gauge display account for infotainment and instrumentation. A redesigned steering column holds the gear selector and a unique stalk for the turn signals and wipers. This takes some getting used to, but we like it. With a little extra cargo room, the new Q3 isn't just flashy, but functional too. The 2026 Audi Q3 starts around $45,000. It's arriving to dealers soon, and we'll feature it again in due time.
We've featured Subaru a lot recently, a result of consistent product launches across their gas, hybrid, and all-electric portfolios. The latest one to reach our studio lot is the 2026 Trailseeker, their midsize EV. And it didn't take long for us to reach this conclusion.
So it turns out the Trailseeker is actually referred to as the e-Outback in some other markets, and honestly, that's the perfect descriptor. Even before driving this thing, I sort of saw it as the all-electric Outback, from its overall size to its 2-row occupancy and its generous cargo capacity. In our road test of the latest internal combustion Outback, we talked about how smooth the suspension was, how the power delivery, while it wasn't obscene, it was also very smooth, and that translates very well here to the Trailseeker. So really, if you wanted a Subaru Outback, but you also wanted an EV, the Trailseeker is your symmetrical all-wheel drive ticket to that.
Yes, an electric version of Subaru's patented symmetrical all-wheel drive is standard, powered up by a pair of electric motors, putting out 375 horsepower. With its 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery pack, the premium grade is EPA estimated to reach up to 281 miles of range, or 274 miles in the limited and touring. Though we'll give you our results in our upcoming road test. The Trailseeker feels more like an extended Solterra, and effectively it is. It's 6 inches longer and about an inch taller, but inside you'll find a familiar dash and steering wheel setup, including the 14-inch touchscreen, dual wireless chargers, and small gauge display. The 2026 Subaru Trailseeker starts around $40,000, only about $1,500 more than the Solterra. We'll give you a more thorough rundown of this e-Outback and bring you more quick spins soon.
The RZ is the vehicle that launched the Lexus battery electric vehicle journey back in 2023. And in the 3 years since, it's pretty clear that Toyota engineers weren't just sitting around patting themselves on the back. As for 2026, the RZ sees updates in power, efficiency, range, and even performance. So let's plug back into the Lexus RZ and judge the outcome. The Lexus RZ has indeed received quite a few updates for 2026, but immediately attracting our attention was this new 550e F-Sport version. Coming with standard all-wheel drive, the 550e cranks up the combined output from both of the 450e's motors to 402 horsepower. And Lexus didn't stop there, spreading the power boost throughout the lineup. The base RZ, which gets a name change from 300e to 350e, remains front-wheel drive but gets a 20 horsepower boost to 221 horsepower. The all-wheel drive 450e technically stays the same at 308 horsepower but gets an optional performance upgrade that will take it to 375. And if you're thinking all that additional power would be to the detriment of range, you'd be wrong, as that has actually grown due to an increase in battery capacity. The 350e and 450e now share a 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery, while the 550e getting a new 77 kilowatt-hour version. This puts range as high as 301 miles, up significantly from the previous best of 266 miles. This 550e, however, gets a rating of just 229 miles, and our driving loop came pretty close on pace for 217 miles. The battery optimization has also allowed for quicker charging, getting to 80% in about 30 minutes with DC fast charging. The onboard charger has also grown from 7 kilowatt to 11 kilowatt. The 550e has also been given a few F-Sport styling upgrades, mostly sporty black finishes for the new rear spoiler, front and rear bumpers, and badging. The 20-inch wheels are lighter and come with aero covers to boost performance, and blue-painted brake calipers are an option. In addition to style and power upgrades, the 550e also gets retuned springs and dampers. At the track, Sport Mode provided some very strong launches, with good all-wheel drive grip getting us full speed ahead immediately. We hit 60 in only 4.5 seconds. There was no drop-off in power throughout the quarter-mile run, finished in 13 seconds at 108 miles per hour. With the F-Sport comes a new M mode, which introduces manual-style gear ratios into the equation. They don't make it any faster, but it does give you the sensation of running up through the gears, which is pretty fun. Coming in around 4,600 pounds means the 550e is certainly not a lightweight, but it felt quite nimble in our handling course. Steering was heavy, but in a good way, providing immediate response and great feedback as we hugged the cones tightly with only minor body roll. Both the seating position and center of gravity felt higher than the typical EV, but we suppose Lexus is trying to deliver more of an SUV feel to the ride. Helping the cause is some additional structural bracing added to all 26 RZs. The brakes felt very good in our panic braking test. Immediate response, quiet operation, stops averaged 119 feet from 60 with very little nosedive. So it does feel like a Lexus from behind the wheel, albeit more of an entry-level one, as we did experience a few more squeaks and random noises than typical. Changes are minimal to the RZ's funky, minimalist interior, mostly just an improved dynamic sky panorama glass roof that provides greater shading than before. The 14-inch infotainment touchscreen works great, and most of our staff love that Lexus stays committed to a big center console instead of opting for the open floor plan of many EVs. Front seats are very comfortable, as we've come to expect from Lexus, with adequate room for adults in the rear. Using 35 kilowatt-hour of electricity per 100 miles earns the 550e a good efficiency rating. Assembled in Japan, updated RZs start at $47,295, with the 550e F-Sport coming in at $58,295. Lexus has not only improved the RZ from tip to tail, but expanded the RZ lineup for 2026 to provide more options for their buyers and broaden its appeal to attract more customers. The RZ 550e F Sport is the kind of performance-minded luxury missile that will attract plenty of eyes as it turns a few heads as well. Well, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, for more MotorWeek, including daily news updates, podcasts, and even complete episodes, cruise on over to pbs.org/MotorWeek. And I hope you'll join us next time. For footage of a car now with more cubic footage, the Kia K4 hatchback. Then go a-wandering in the all-new Jeep Cherokee. Till then, I'm John Davis. We'll see you right here on MotorWeek.
To learn more about MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine, visit pbs.org/MotorWeek.
The MotorWeek app, which includes our latest reviews and feature stories, is now available for mobile devices.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
This program was produced by Maryland Public Television, which is solely responsible for its content.